Welcome back to the Wellness Tribes podcast, Finding Your Vibe. This is the podcast where we share with you our journey as a new business
and help you to elevate your life by connecting to the highest, most authentic version of yourself. You can now watch the podcast on YouTube, follow us on TikTok, and of course over on our Instagram. This is how you will become part of the tribe.
Hello.
Hello, good evening.
We are back. Good morning.
Are back. Good morning, good evening, whatever time it is for you. We are excited to catch up this week because Emily's just done her first retreat without me.
Without you. So if you are watching on YouTube, you'll see that I am on the sofa. I'm in my dressing gown. I am not getting dressed today. Well, I am. I'm going for a facial. And this is my first day now after the retreat season. So we've done all of our retreats now from February. We finished our last one yesterday. So we've had a busy few months and today is all about rest.
We were discussing it earlier and you were just saying how you didn't miss me.
I know, which sounds awful. However, we'll go into this, but it was only a one night. And because things have been so busy leading up to it, and obviously you've not been here for a few weeks now, it just has flown by. I don't know. I love our chats on the plane when we go on retreat. We chat the whole time on the plane. We chat the whole time on the transfer. We go and do our food shopping together. This was a little bit different. So we got there, the food shop was delivered, and then it just got straight into it. So there was no time to miss you.
No time for the little chat. It's nice that we're at the stage business-wise that we don't both need to be there. Like, this is a huge stage, I think. I think obviously we love being there, but I think to be able to be in the actual position where you've got a team is actually so exciting. And obviously I know it from the other side because I feel like I could tell when the team were messaging me that they were like, everything's fine, Rachel, don't stress. But I actually wasn't stressed.
Don't panic.
Yeah, but I wasn't stressed. Like, I was so confident in you all, and especially when I saw all the pictures. But I thought, isn't that good though? That's how it should be, isn't it? That you're like, no, I know that they've got it. And when I saw the pictures, I was like, oh my God, it's even better. Looked amazing.
No, it was honestly, it was so good. The team were amazing. Like, so good. I just think it's sad that we weren't together, but this is what we've been working towards. I think we knew that this day was going to come.
This day was going to
come.
And
it's come. And it did work really well. However, I think if it was our usual 3-day retreat, I'd have been having bad withdrawal. This was a big one for you not to be here for, but we knew when it was booked that you weren't going to be here. So it was never in the back of our mind that you were going to be here. We knew that you weren't. This was our first one, which was corporate. So it was with Specsavers. What a brand to work for, by the way. Like, absolutely amazing that they're giving these opportunities to their staff. Honestly. So all of the retreat guests that we had were all branch managers, I want to say. It's almost like a franchise. So whether we call them branch owners or managers, but they run their own shops and then they can speak to the head office. And that's where the head office have got in touch with us and they've put it out to their branch owners and they came to spend a retreat with us, which was so nice. So they got in touch with us, the head office, I think back in April maybe.
Yeah, it wasn't long at all. It was actually quite a quick turnaround. That's how we knew I was going to be away anyway. But obviously with a brand like that, we were like, what the hell is going on? Like, in Australia, there's Specsavers everywhere, which I didn't know, by the way. I didn't know this was that big. But even at the time, didn't we? We said
I asked them about
how
that.
we got this. Yeah, how we got this was just directly through our website. So any business owners listening and maybe, I don't know, a kind of, what's it? It's like the dinosaur, isn't it? Having a website. Like, you mightn't think that you need a website anymore. You might think you just need socials. But I think having that good, strong website with all your information on, we literally just got an inquiry through the website. So definitely need a website, guys.
Yeah, definitely. It was so good how it came through. There is a form on there and, someone from head office filled out the form, got in touch, and then it was just a call. And then before you know it, it was all set up and all ready for them. I think if you are looking into doing something like this for your own brand, then you can get in touch with us with maybe a budget, and then we can work towards your budget, or you can ask us our opinion and we'll put together a retreat experience for you. But a couple of the guests actually asked me if we would do small groups as well, for their family. I think they had
Yeah.
like one guest in particular had like a couple of sisters, and then they all had daughters, and she was like, it would be so nice for us all to do something together. And we have had a few inquiries about hen parties and stuff as well, so it is something that we do. So if you are interested in having your own group one, whether it be work or family or anything like that, then definitely get in touch because we can figure out a retreat for you. I was going to say, you have got the a few little points of why you would go into a corporate retreat, haven't you? Why you would
Yeah,
choose to do
so
one.
basically, like, I think with this, I was just thinking then, so obviously we got the inquiry through the website, but we put on about corporate events before we got the inquiry because it was an idea that we've had. I've obviously worked in a corporate company, and the company I work for, which I don't mind saying, is very.com, and they were so good with wellness when I was there. Actually, they had like on-site gym. People used to come in externally doing like yoga and stuff like that. So but they were quite different when I was looking for a job, and that was something that definitely enticed me to go there, because I think anyone now, if you're dedicating a lot of your life to this job, it's the majority of your week, isn't it? You need some kind of perk, and just to know the company is invested in your well-being is just so important. I think it's like being a part of the movement where it's not all about people just go to work to like suffer and dread Monday. Like, I think it's often glamorized to have your own business, which we've chosen to do, and we love it and we wouldn't change it. But there's also something nice about, we say it all the time, don't we, Em, about if you did have a 9 to 5 that you loved, and then you go home and you're really good at your job, you're happy with your salary, you've got a good work balance, and then your company really looked after you and you're getting those perks where you feel like they genuinely care about you. I think that's like got so many valuable points to it as well, hasn't it? So I think from our
Definitely.
perspective, we were thinking we could like make a difference in this space, because I think for so long it was just you wouldn't even probably be like pushed to work out on your lunch break, would you really? It'd be like eat at your desk and have no break. But I think a lot of companies now are like, take your rest, take your break, and then do this for yourself. Did any of the guests mention about what it's like, work life balance kind of situation? Did they open up about that, or they just felt like they
Yeah,
wanted to come
so
on for something for them?
we actually had a workshop which was hosted by Jay. Has he got a company name?
I think so. We'll put it in the description. But he's
We'll
basically
pop
a
that in the
qualified mental
description.
health nurse. So he's fully qualified. Got like 9 years experience in that world, I think. So I think he was a good person to come in on that front, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was really, really good. And he spoke to the guests a lot about their sleep and their work life balance. And from what I can gather from a lot of them, is they have a very hectic life. I think from what I was saying at the start, you can see that they're going to be really busy. They're managing a whole shop. Some of them were like opticians, and some of them were doing the floor, like running the shop. And then a few of them were opticians, but they would go along like to people's houses and stuff like that for
Ah,
people who can't make it
interesting.
to the shop. Yes. So they have got a hectic work life, but then they've also got a hectic home life with older children, maybe that were still at home. A few had children that had left now, but they were, still busy social lives. And a few had younger children under 10. So all in all, different, but still busy. Everyone's
Yeah,
lives are quite busy. And I think a lot of it they would put other things before their own sleep.
yeah,
So they would be having maybe like a coffee when they get in from work to keep them awake for those hours, that from between 5 and midnight before they would go to bed. because they'd
Yeah,
have
so you
so
didn't
much
have
to do.
that balance, right?
But then they would only sleep from midnight until say 6 a.m. and then the work life would start again then on the laptop. So there was a lot of, figuring that out, and Jay was really helpful with that as well.
And it's also new, I think, say my dad, he's worked in a corporate company like his whole life, and probably if I
Mm.
asked him, there was probably, I mean, he's still not really into it, but probably because they're so used to it not being a thing. Whereas I think a lot of people our age now, as soon as you even leave school, you kind of are more aware of like your routine, how much sleep you should be getting. Like it's all over socials, isn't it? Like if you don't get 8 hours sleep, then God knows what they're saying now, to be honest. I can't keep up. But you just know that you need to prioritize your health to even be successful in your job. And I think that's what was missing. I think if you want staff to perform their best, then you've got to have them in the best mindset, haven't you? Rather than being like, just crack on, just manage it, because I think
Yeah.
that's when your business doesn't do well. We know it, don't we? If we're not getting enough rest or we've burnt ourselves out. I think I was definitely getting to that point before I came here. I actually look back and think, I think if I'd have done another month, it wouldn't have, it couldn't have
Wouldn't
gone
have
on.
ended well.
No, it wouldn't. And so it would have been a breakdown. It would have been a breakdown special. But I think you've got to get them about the scales right, haven't you? So I think it's just exciting that these companies, they have got the budget to do it, and we obviously, it's actually really good business wise to know anyone, I don't know if anyone who's listening does run a company, but it's actually a good way to reinvest your money from the company. It's not taxable to invest in employee well-beings in most settings, so it's just something that you benefit in your company because you know that your staff are happy then. So I think it's exciting. I think we just didn't think it's not 2 years yet, Emily. So we
Yeah.
didn't think we'd be working with a big name like that. It is so exciting. So it just shows that it's just something so in demand now, isn't it? Like who doesn't need a better work-life balance? I don't know anyone. Even you,
No,
Mrs. Chill. You need a
I
better
know.
work-life balance.
Well, I'm in the dressing gown today. She's not
Yeah,
coming
this
up.
sums it up.
It was really, really good. And the women that we met, I'm just gonna they weren't all this age, but say they were around late 40s. Okay. So there was a mix, but let's say that was the age. You've got to think if they started working for that company when they were 18, that was still very much like we work hard and that there's no joy in
Yeah,
work. The
yeah,
joy comes from working hard, and then the benefits show, which they have for these women because they've made it up to the top where they now own
yeah,
their own branch of it. So they were coming from a different kind of place where I think if we had a corporate retreat for women now that were very early 20s, they would just expect that this is the norm. Whereas the
yeah,
women that we had over the last few days, they were very much like very, very grateful for the experience because this is never anything that they've known
yeah.
within a work setting.
I definitely, that's what I mean. I agree. And I was just thinking then, I think my concern is that I think sometimes with these wellness trends and stuff, even if this become even more of a trend, and you see it sometimes with brands where they do it in a way for influencers to shoot content, don't you? And I've heard seen on socials where they feel like the influencers don't actually get looked after when they're there, but then it's shown as like a wellness experience where they're doing yoga and stuff. But for us, that whole wellness retreat experience is like needs to be pure for that purpose. And you really
Mhm.
going into that, you don't want companies just thinking, oh, it isn't taxable and then it looks good. Like I can't remember what it's called. It's where you look like you're doing something but you're not actually doing it. You wouldn't want
Yeah,
companies to start going, we care so much about employee wellness, but not giving them the best way of doing it. In a sense,
yeah,
I think a lot of the people you said you spoke to said the one thing they wish was just that it was longer, because they were like, oh
yeah,
my God, this is
they
actually
did.
so nice. And it takes a while to get
Yeah,
into it and really think, oh, this is the vibe. So I
yeah,
think, yeah, they're probably just, it's new to them, but they probably realised, oh no, this is what the Wellness Tribe actually do, and genuinely the company did want them to enjoy the experience.
Yeah, and you know, Specsavers, from what I've learned over the last few days, are an amazing brand. And they are obviously aware that, like you said, your dad, probably this isn't aimed at everybody. It's
Yeah,
aimed at women that have similar interests to us, which we're lucky does seem to be a lot of women and men, because we did offer this to men as well. So it's not just exclusive for women, especially the corporate side. But when I was speaking to their host from Specsavers from head office, she said that next month there's another one, but it's different. It's not yoga, but
yeah.
it's still an overnight stay. And
Oh, nice.
she was telling me about what it was, and it was more like dog related. And you know,
Oh, so
the
fun.
amount of us that are obsessed with our dogs, she said that was
Yeah,
the one that they were doing next. But then she'd like to do another one of these in the next coming months. So there's definitely, you know, they're not just doing something because it's not, you know, it's tax free for their
it's
company. They're not just
trendy.
ticking a box. They're just doing these things because they know how important it is, and probably how stressful the jobs are, and that they want to treat their workers to a nice experience, but also a nice experience, but something that's going to be beneficial to them.
Yeah, but I think that's what's interesting. You've not been in an office setting, have you ever?
No,
No. She's like, no, I'm allergic. But
never.
I have, and you know what? Even in places where you have that bit of wellness, sometimes there's like this work culture that I think anyone listening to this will definitely understand. Where it's like, how long have they been on their break for? You know, like even if they go in the gym, which is actually like beneficial to their thing, you'd think, is anyone timing how long I've actually been here for? Or like, do you know what I mean? Like sometimes you can't fully enjoy them times of, even though they want them to go and do it, you're thinking, but is it time related? Whereas I think sometimes when we chat about like productivity, I think people are more productive if they've done something for themselves. Like they could probably get more work done in less time if you're looking after
Yeah,
yourself and doing the things that make your brain switch on. I know for me, the days where I don't work out in the morning, I'm like slower. Where I think I've said that to you before, but I think people would think, what? Like,
yeah,
I just don't know. It like switches my brain on. I think if companies lean into that and kind of come away from like the toxic culture of like work, 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 and then just go home and it's dark in the UK and just like go again the next day, I think it'll be a lot
yeah,
more positive. So it's quite exciting. I think a lot of
yeah.
other
I
companies should
do.
take note.
So a lot of people have been asking me as well, what were the vibes? Like, were they the tribe vibe? And
Yeah.
because these aren't forced on events, you know, they get put out to everybody. Would anybody like to come? You're not signing up to these events if it's not your vibe. So,
Yeah.
you know, the vibes were there. They were all
Yeah.
really, really positive. They were all happy. There wasn't as much for me to do. I think this is where I didn't really miss you as much as I would if we were
Yeah.
doing our personal tribe events, because there was a host from the head office, which I think I mentioned before. So, and a lot of them had met before at other conferences that they have each year. So they'd recognize each other, and you know, they had a lot to speak about because they were all in very similar, obviously, job roles. So that aspect was a little bit different,
Were you
not
like,
in a bad
hi,
way,
hi?
different. Yeah.
You're like,
Hi.
excuse me?
I'm Emily. But
I haven't been to
their
a
vibes were
conference.
there because yeah, they had so much to talk about. So I was like the new girl. And so that bit was a little bit different. But the second day we went swimming, and a few of them were like really keen swimmers, you know, that was definitely like one of the reasons why they booked on. But a few of them were like, I'm not sure. But they did it and they got in. And then they got out and they were like, that was so refreshing. Like, I'm so glad that I did that.
Yeah.
I'm so proud of myself. And I thought, that's the tribe vibe
That
that
is the
always
tribe vibe.
happens.
You're just in like a different setting where you wouldn't normally be in, and then people are doing something. There's
Yeah.
definitely something in where you think, no, I can't just walk away now and not do it. Like, let's just
Yeah.
give it a go. Because I think even
Yeah.
what it wasn't on the podcast, was it? What you said to me the other day, I was telling Emily what I'm about to get up to while I'm here. I'm going on a snorkeling trip tomorrow, basically, and I'm going on another one where you like sleep basically on a boat in the ocean, but they're all in water. And Emily knows I don't like water that much, but I just think, would I rather do it and be able to be like, I did it, and I'll be made up after I do it, or just be like, I don't like water. I think it's just one of them, isn't it? They were probably thinking, I don't want to have FOMO, so I'm just going to do it.
Yeah.
Until I've got
Yeah.
the worst
And
fear
I'm
of
so
water
glad
after
that they
this.
did it. I mean, yeah. Yeah, no, you won't. You'll be absolutely fine. They were all so happy that they did it, and it was just so nice. I feel like as I feel like when you say the term like group bonding, you almost think like, okay, tell me an interesting fact, and everyone's like, oh God, not not this game. I don't have a fact. This was like group bonding, but in not in a forceful sit down serious setting. It's just
Yeah,
you're gonna if you're not, say me and you were going and I was a brilliant swimmer, me and you are probably going to separate because I know that you're going to want to be back there with your float and say I was
yeah,
off. Not that this would
yeah.
happen in real life. However,
It would.
if that was the dynamic between the two friendships, no, I'm not a good swimmer either. But that was almost what it was. The friendship groups that were there, because a few of them were business partners, they did separate at that time because they knew that they could go off with the strong swimmers and then their friends could stay with the not so strong swimmers.
Yeah,
So you are bonding with different people and you are separated from maybe like your comfort person. So that was really nice as well. And then everybody was also getting in their wetsuits and they were all putting their floats on. And it was just, it's not something that you normally do, especially not in work life when you're in Specsavers. We're not getting in our wetsuits. So that was just a really good one. And then we all came back and had like a buffet lunch made by Em. And it was honestly so, so good. The lunch was just
yeah,
unreal. And then we had our final meditation. And the difference between these women on the final meditation compared to on the first meditation was massive. I think where there was a host there and they all were kind of recognise each other, they all had similar job roles. There was so much to talk about from the moment they stepped through the door. Whereas on the last one, they were like, it must have like clicked almost what had
yeah.
happened and what we'd put on for them. And then they were like reflecting back on the time and they were like really, really enjoyed it, which was so
Yeah, and you're
nice.
like, I'm just going to enjoy this moment at the end. Because sometimes when it gets to the end of a retreat, you're
Yeah.
like, is this actually like the end now? Like, this is actually quite sad. But you know what's probably interesting for them? I think, I know for years and years, it's not that companies don't want to do the like team building kind of thing where you're with people you work, but it's usually like some kind of thing where you go out somewhere and do like, hi, this is something about me, but like really cringe, because even sometimes on retreat
Yeah,
you have
yeah.
to say, introduce yourself, like what's your name and stuff. And even sometimes for us, we're like, oh, that's not the most us thing, but what else can you do to introduce people? But I think at these team building events, it's just very like cringy, or you'll go and play like rounders or something. I feel like if it's like really wholesome and
Yeah.
the food was so nice and the setting was just like luxury, wasn't it? Really, it was absolutely gorgeous. So I think it's like
Yeah.
the corporate world is getting a little bit of a glow up, and it's a tribey glow up, and it looked
It's getting a
amazing.
glow up and we're here for it. Yeah, we are
We are
here for it.
here.
We're here for the corporate vibes. We're here for the private group vibes. We're here for your family vibes. Anything that you would like to do. I know we've had like inquiries before about big birthdays. Just please do get in touch because we can cater a retreat for you, I'm sure.
Yeah, I think it's all changing, isn't it? I think with hen dos and stuff, like it's like that's definitely going to shift over, I think, because even for
Mhm.
me, when I've obviously, I don't mind a little party, but the thought of if I had to do like the craziest hen do for like a full 5 days, I'd just be like, oh, this just isn't my vibe.
No,
Like I want like a little classy,
you are a secret crazy girl.
secret crazy girl. So maybe one of the nights, but then I'd like the retreat for the rest of it.
No,
So I can heal.
I agree.
I can
I
heal from the
agree.
Prosecco.
But yes, but that was our first corporate event. So we're very, very grateful to Specsavers and we hope to work with them again because it really was a gorgeous couple of days. And we had the best
Yeah, it
team.
was so exciting. I think that's what you find when you start running a business. I don't know about you, but we have had some really great conversations and got to meet some, like even that just had a call with the lady who looks after that part, and people would probably ask like, oh, how'd you go into them situations? But we do just say exactly what we do, how we do it. And I think in the past I would have been so worried and be like, you know, try and change it to be something else. But I think if you authentically, what we offer is actually what we want to do and what they can actually get so much out of, I think.
It's interesting that you say that though, because one of our girls that works with us said to me, how are you so confident when you walk in the room and you speak to women that you don't know? And I said to her, it's because that's what we do. Like
Yeah.
I'm not I'm not talking about anything that we're lying
Yeah.
about. This is our business. This is us. We wouldn't change it whether it's a corporate one or a hen do.
Yeah.
We'll do line dancing with you all if you
Yeah.
would like to.
And
You know, we could have a wine with you all if you want to.
yeah.
Whatever is right for that group in that situation that we do, we'll do it.
Yeah. I totally
So
agree.
that's where I think the confidence comes from. It's just because that's what we're trained in, but not only trained in, it's almost like without sounding ridiculous, like they're like light bulb where you think, right, that's it. That's what I'm
Yeah.
for. That's what I was here for.
You just step in, don't you? And I think in these settings, you can't not be confident, because I think if we were so not confident and nervous and stressing, that vibe just is a vibe. Like, we don't want to be giving that vibe off. I don't know, there's just something about retreat that is quite daunting for people when they get there. And I totally get
Yeah.
that. But I think you just need that calming voice. And I think even for me, because you're so calm, and I know I'm not that calm in a work thing, but even this morning, right, get on this. I went to a gym class and I was speaking to the girl who works there, and she was just saying something. She went, kind of like you and Adam, like you're both very got calm and energies. And I've just never thought I've had a calm and
Oh,
energy, right? But I've had it a few times. And I think I've just always told
that's
myself I'm
so
not a calm and
nice.
energy, but I think maybe we both do have. But otherwise, I suppose it
Mm.
wouldn't be very comforting coming on retreat if we were not giving off the calm
Erratic.
energy. Yeah, just like
Yeah.
jumping off the walls.
Yeah, no, definitely. So like I say, I think that calm energy comes in when it's like, you want to do that bit? That was what we do? You want to do the line dancing? No
Yeah.
problem. Let me get my cowboy boots
An
on.
interesting one on this is when we were going to, and we don't know if it might happen again, but we were supposed to have an influencer come at one point on retreat, weren't we? And we didn't end up going with it in the end. It didn't happen. The world didn't want it to happen. And when we chatted to some of the guests and we said, how would you have felt if someone came on retreat with like quite a lot of followers and stuff like that? And they said like it might have changed the experience, but I think we didn't. It's something for us to think about, isn't it? Because I think we wouldn't have changed the experience, but you've got to kind of try and read the setting in every situation. So we do try and
Yeah.
gauge situations before we do them, because I think that we can show up and do what we do, but it's trying to read the room, isn't it? That's the hardest thing to do.
Yeah. No,
But
definitely.
yeah,
And be able to have like a skill set almost like in your booklet where you're like, okay, I can whip out this and this if all else
yeah,
fails. And I think had we have been there longer, the women that we had would have loved a little dance class. Go on TikTok and
it,
have a little look at that. So we are so grateful to have done our first corporate retreat with a brand as big as Specsavers. We couldn't be more grateful, but we have got a few other little inquiries. So hopefully, fingers crossed for 2025. It's going to be a big year. But yes, so if you have got any groups in mind that you would like to host your own retreat for. Maybe you've got a business or a big birthday, a hen do, anything like that, then please do get in touch and we can figure something else out for you wherever you'd like to go, whether it be UK or abroad.
Definitely. It's so exciting. I think there's so many big things coming up. And then obviously with the podcast, we're just loving this, aren't we? Just loving catching up.
We are.
And we've just met so many amazing people. So we should have some guests joining us, which we haven't done before. Still just nice and chatty like this. But I think it's just a good place to find out where other people are up to with their business. And we actually work with a lot of creatives as well, so these are the type of people where we learn these things, we want to share it, we want to pass it on, so it's so
Yeah.
exciting. And yeah, we'll catch up with you all next week.
Very exciting. So yeah, we'll catch up and we'll catch up with each other. You'll get to hear the rundown of Rachel's Australia diaries because I've missed them this week. I need to know what you've been up to and I want to know when you're going on this boat because I just can't wait to hear all about that, to be honest.
I know. Well, it's actually like a tent on top of a boat. I'm going to send you a pic. I'm going to insert a pic
Please
on the
do.
next podcast of when I run through what I've been up to. But yeah, there's actually quite a bit to catch up on, so I'll save that for next week.
Well, I can't wait, but have a gorgeous night's sleep and I'm going to go for my facial and relax.
Amazing. Well, have a gorgeous week, tribe, and we will catch you
Have a
all
gorgeous
next
week.
week.